10 or more hits, and when you look at the top of the order, there's a lot of damage to be done, and J.P. Arencibia is hanging with the big boys.
And that's why they have him in the 5th spot, I think, because he's driving in some runs. He's had one heck of a month. Everybody talks about Jose Bautista with his 17 RBIs, but since May 14th, J.P. Arencibia has the 5th most RBIs in the American League, and it was J.P. Arencibia who got it all started in the 4th inning in last night's ball game. I like the idea that the Blue Jays had in this inning. You get a first pitch fastball, use it. Arencibia homered, and then Davis hit the ball down the left field line for a 2-run double. First pitch, they swung at it 5 times in that inning, got 4 hits. The only one they didn't get a hit was this hit right here by Corey Patterson.
Patterson hit a ground ball to second. 2 runs would come in on the fielder's choice in the air on the second baseman, and then Jose Bautista really crossed up the Indians, shooting one down the right field corner.
That's how you hit 350, by using the whole field. J.P. Arencibia started the whole thing with a single. He ends the whole thing with a double to left field and RBI. All told, 7 runs in the inning for the Blue Jays, their highest scoring inning of the season.
Jose Bautista batting .356 with 20 home runs. He's been great all year long. J.P. Arencibia has become the everyday catcher. He's hitting .259, 8 homers and 26 RBIs. A very potent 1-2 punch in the middle of the Blue Jays order. Jamie? Baseball. It's Tuesday night, so that means it's BlackBerry Tweeting Tuesday. Follow the Blue Jays on Twitter at twitter.com/Blue Jays. Answer Blue Jays trivia to win prizes. Submit your questions on Twitter to @BlueJays and Buck Martinez or Pat Tablet. We could choose your Twitter questions of the game. At Twitter, Blue Jays currently has 41,000 followers, and we'd like to thank all of you at Blue Jay followers for your support. Take a look at the lineups now for the Cleveland Indians. The Indians really had a rough start to this series last night. They lost 11-1. 31-24 the season. That keeps them in first place in the Central by 5 games. Michael Brantley, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo, top 3 in the order. Travis Buckets clean up. Carlos Santana, Grady Sizemore, their fine center fielder, back in the lineup tonight. He is in center field, just fresh off the disabled list. Cabrera, Laporta, and Jack Hanahan round out the Indians lineup.
Indians have run into some very good pitching over the last couple of weeks. They've been outscored 44-12 and losing 5 of their last 6 games. 1 run in their last 3 losses, and now it's up to Brandon Morrow to keep the winning streak alive. Morrow takes the mound for his 8th start of the season. He received his 3rd no decision his last time out against the White Sox. That was a 3-1 loss to Chicago. He left after 7 innings with the score tied 1-1. Was the 5th time in 8 starts this year that he has allowed 3 runs or less. He is throwing the ball very well. Right now he just doesn't have anything to show for it, but he's getting better and better each time he takes to the mound. The scouting report for Brandon Morrow is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. The Blazer. He's got the great fastball. He's probably the best fastball in that starting rotation. Working downhill is so important for Brandon Morrow. He talked about that after his last start, that he really felt like he was finally getting on top of the ball and working downhill. In 11 every 9 innings. That means that he has struck out 11 batters every 9 innings he takes to the mound in his Blue Jays career. Watch out, you might see a lot of strikeouts tonight. The Indians have the 6th highest strikeout total in the American League.
And if he doesn't strike him out, he'll turn to the defense to play very well behind him. They have had a great run on defense recently. Patterson, Davis, and Bautista in the outfield. The infield turned 3 double plays last night. Escobar, Hill up the middle, Nixon, Rivera at the corners, and J.P. Arancibia will handle Brandon Morrow tonight behind the plate.
I think it's a byproduct of throwing strikes, working quickly, and that defense stays on their toes, and they certainly have been alert behind the starters here the last week or so.
You know, Escobar and Aaron Hill have teamed up very effectively around the bag. They have now turned 49 double plays on the infield this season. Michael Brantley, the leadoff batter, will start things off. He was on base 3 times last night. Had a single, couple of walks. He also hit into one of those double plays. We are set for action. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. And it's a good one. First pitch, strike. Morrow, the last time out, as Pat mentioned, was real good. He said it was his best start of the season. He felt like he had real good feel of his fastball. Out in front.
His best games don't have to be the games where he strikes everybody out. We all know that he can do that already this year. He's had a 10 strikeout game. He's had an 8 strikeout game against Minnesota. But in that last game that you were just talking about, he had his lowest strikeout total, but his command was so much better. He was able to get his breaking ball over in big counts.
There's a breaking ball, and that's a fair ball down the left field line, and it bounces into the seat out of the plate. A ground rule double on an 0-2 pitch for Michael Brantley.
Brantley is really coming into his own. They got him from the Milwaukee Brewers in the CC Sabathia trade. He just catches way too much of the plate. 0-2. It looked like he wanted to bounce that one or get it down under his hands, but he slices it down the left field line. A good start for the Tribe.
Asdrubal Cabrera's off to a great start this season. He had a tough night last night. He was 0 for 3 and hit into 2 double plays. First pitch, strike at 95. Morrow has really mastered his delivery. It was such a work in progress through the first 2 months of last season, but now he can repeat this delivery as well as anybody on the staff.
And when he is throwing strikes and throwing quality strikes, he can be unhittable at times. This is about the time of the year last year where Morrow really stepped it up.
Tomorrow is the first month of June, and it was the month of June last year where Morrow went 5-1 in ERA under 2. He was the Blue Jay pitcher of the month.
1-1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Pops it out of play. The Indians have been great with runners in scoring position. As a team, they have hit .305. Cabrera himself has been very productive. He has 35 RBI. That leads the Indians, and he's a guy that has really come into his own this season.
Yeah, it certainly has. 10 home runs already this year. Coming into this year, he had 18.
Good pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. All Cabrera could do was foul it out of play. The Asdrubal Cabrera and Jose Bautista, you see what they've done since April 29th. Very comparable. Cabrera has 5 more hits, and Bautista has 5 more RBI, but the numbers are very similar.
Had some big walk-off hits for him also.
1-2. Fastball up and in. Indians kind of came out of nowhere to start this season. We talked about them finishing 69-93 a year ago. They are now 31-20. They have a 5-game lead for Maniacta in the AL Central.
Their best start since 2007. And they got all the way to the AL Championship that year.
Good strikeout for Morrow. Boy, he located that fastball right on the outside corner. Not much Cabrera could do with it.
It was almost like he said, okay, I am going to stay away so he can't pull the ball and get that runner over to third base. Right in the mitt of Arancibia where he wanted it. Too close to take for Cabrera.
So the right fielder will step in with a man at second and 1 out. Shin-Soo Choo, batting .250 to start this game. He's got that outside corner zeroed in right now.
That was one of the problems he has had this year. Fastball was just zooming away. But since he figured out to stay on top of the ball just a little bit more, create that downward movement on that fastball, he's been able to dot that outside corner.
Went right back to it. See, Arancibia motioned to Morrow as if Arancibia felt that Brandon took his eye off the glove after that last pitch. He tapped his glove and tapped his mask. Look at me now. Look at me. Ball on the strike. That's all it took. To zero in on that glove, and he delivers a strike.
And it came right back. Morrow has that ability to throw pitches in the strike zone and get outs because his stuff is so good. And when you've got that electric fastball, you still have to make quality pitches, but you can get it in the strike zone and still get strikeouts. That last fastball, he threw it right by Choo.
1-2. 96. Turn it up a notch. This is a pretty good example of what pitching coaches mean when they talk about pitchers trusting their stuff.
Go ahead. Here's my fastball. Let me see you. You hit it. He threw a couple of fastballs by Brantley and then went to the breaking ball and then gave up doubles. Right now he is challenging the middle of this lineup.
There's that hard breaking ball, back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff double.
It's free and it's easy. This time it's up to Choo. Almost a backup slider, and his timing was messed up.
So 2 outs now. Travis Buck will step in. Buck did not play in the game last night. He is 1 for 11 against Brandon Morrow. No mystery to what Morrow's trying to do against Buck. Going to continue to work that outside corner. And why not?
Stay right there. Buck has enjoyed success here at Rogers Center. He's also enjoyed success in his career versus the Blue Jays, a 400 hitter. Here at Rogers Center, it's up to 438.
Hits it right to the shortstop. Well, Brandon Morrow patiently pitched his way out of a tough spot. Leadoff double. Indians couldn't do anything with it. Batting average, they're also second in runs scored, and they have really swung the bats well of late. 2 games over 500. Escobar, Patterson, Bautista, top of the order. Rivera, Arancibia, and Hill. This has become a productive middle part of the lineup. Thames, Davis, and Jason Nix round out the bottom of the order, and they're set to take on Mitch Talbot.
And they have been hot. Mitch Talbot wants to bounce back from his roughest outing of the season. Talbot pitched last Wednesday versus the Red Sox, and they reached him quickly, scoring 7 runs in the first inning on their way to a 14-2 win. Talbot lasted just 3 innings in that game. He was a double-digit winner for Cleveland last season, winning 10 games in his first year in the big leagues.
Making his second career start against the Blue Jays, Yunel Escobar looks at a first pitch off the plate outside.
That only appearance versus the Blue Jays was back on May the 3rd. Gave up 5 runs, 4 of those runs off of home runs. Blue Jays hit 3 home runs off of him in that game.
Two and 0. Escobar counting his favor, 3-0. Blue Jays have been great, scoring a lot of runs of late, and Escobar's had a lot to do with that. 11-game hit streak, 2 more hits in last night's game. He drove in a run, and he also walked and scored. Talbot doesn't throw as hard as Fausto Carmona, the starter in last night's game, but his fastball reacts in a very similar fashion.
Got the sink to it, so he has to throw strikes. Last Wednesday against the Red Sox, this is Mitch Talbot's start, and just notice where all of these pitches are. First to Dustin Pedroia and then to Carl Crawford. All told, they scored 7 runs in that inning. On their way to a 14-2 win, he only lasted 3 innings. He has got to get the ball down if he wants to be successful.
That was his first start since coming off the disabled list. He had an elbow strain that pushed him onto the disabled list on April 17th. Corey Patterson has been part of this hit barrage of late. Patterson was shut out in last night's game after going 9 for 12 in the previous 2 games. But he picked up an RBI. He had a sac fly in the 5th inning. That's a cut fastball. Talbot throws so effectively. It's a good pitch to left-handed hitters. It bears in on their hands.
Yeah, it's got to get in there, though. Right now, he is struggling with his command, walks the leadoff batter, and he can't do that. He just doesn't have the power to reach back like Brandon Morrow and get himself out of danger by striking people out.
Ball on the strike. Changeup. Patterson waited back, but it was still off speed to him. Last 19 games for Corey Patterson, he's been on a tear. A lot of it has to do with his position in the batting order. Batting in front of Jose Bautista. That has to be the most favored batting spot in the American League.
Certainly helps if you're going to get a lot of fastballs and with people on base.
1-2. Lays off. The appeal to third. No swing, says Marvin Hudson. 2-2 count.
You've got a lot of runners on base and you've got a big home run hitter behind you. You're going to get challenged. And pitchers certainly have done that to him, and Patterson has responded. This nice little hit streak. He's had 11 RBIs.
Escobar will dive back into first. Blue Jays have scored first inning runs in 3 of the last 4 ball games, and it has a lot to do with these 3 hitters. Escobar has been on base a lot. Patterson's been swinging a hot bat, and we know what Bautista's done all year. That's the last thing starting pitchers need to do, is deal with a top hot 3. This ball is popped up, should be playable for the third baseman. Jack Hanahan makes the catch in fair territory. 1 out.
You know, it's in a confident group also. The Blue Jays hitters have stood in there. They seem very confident. They know what they want to do. That 4th inning last night against Carmona that we talked about in the opening just showed you everything you wanted to know. They were looking for fastballs. They had an idea. They had a plan. And when they got their pitch, they didn't miss it.
Scored 7 runs on 5 hits, sent 11 men to the plate in that 7-run 4th inning. Jose Bautista goes after the first pitch and pops it out of play. Bautista is on a pace ahead of his 54 home runs from a year ago. His last 10 games, everything: walks, home runs, RBIs, average. He's done it all. Ball is inside. He fights it off.
We were going through some of the numbers, the offensive numbers for the Blue Jays before the game, and we're like, where did that come from? You know, they have really jumped into the leaders as a team offensively. They are first in the American League in total bases. They're first in stolen bases, are actually tied with the Kansas City Royals.
One that surprised me was their 3rd in on-base percentage. They've really jumped in that category. Bautista in a hole, 0-2. Off the plate. Bautista hit a home run against Mitch Talbot last year when he faced him in Cleveland. Talbot started that game, gave up 3 home runs in the game, as Pat mentioned. Bautista was batting 7th in the order at that time. Base hit into right field. Escobar will stop at second. Chu has a great arm. Well, that's another aspect of Bautista's game that has improved dramatically. His ability to get base hits to right.
His directions of hits are starting to go to right field. Pitchers are staying away from that. Looked like the cup fastball. He's still going to be a big-time pull hitter. Most of his hits are going to go from left to left center field. But if you start pitching him away, he's got the discipline and the plate contact to hit the ball the other way.
Now, he's such a smart hitter, and he makes adjustments during the course of the game. That's why he's hitting .360 now with that base hit. Juan Rivera with 2 on and 1 out. Blue Jays have been scorching the baseball with runners in scoring position. Hitting .439 over their last 4 games.
It makes you look good when you start hitting with runners in scoring position. Juan Rivera has been doing that also. He has worn out the Indians in his career also. He's hit 6 home runs against them.
Almost went after that pitch. He was all loaded, but it was just a touch too high. Well, he's been a big addition to this lineup, and these numbers have improved dramatically since he's played first base defensively.
Get to play in the field a little bit. Don't have to worry about just DHing. Getting into the flow of the game, and it certainly shows in his numbers.
On the ground, Hanahan to second, Cabrera to first, and Rivera is doubled up. Blue Jays get 2 on with a walk and a base hit, but the Indians get the double play behind Mitch Talbot. We're scoreless after 1.
Or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
It's a perfect night for baseball as Blue Jays are playing the Indians. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Kyle Drabek will go to the mound to wrap things up in this 3-game series. Jojo Reyes, how about that? Won his first game in 29 starts last night. A complete game effort against Cleveland. And his teammates couldn't have been more happy for him. Great celebration after the game.
And you can stop talking about it now. You can just go out there and just pitch the way he is capable of and not have to worry about that record anymore. He was talking after the game about how his teammates were right behind him, how the fans were behind him. It was an exciting day.
Santana goes the other way. This is trouble. It's a fair ball down the left field line and bounces into the seats for a ground rule double. Carlos Santana delivers a ground rule double, his 8th double of the season, and the Indians have another leadoff double to start the second.
And just like the first inning, Brantley doubles down the left field line, and now Santana, who's a whale of a hitter. He is hitting just .214, and that will change. He has a great idea at the plate. He leads off the second inning with a double.
Grady Sizemore, the fine young center fielder for the Indians, is just off the disabled list. He played 3 games in Tampa Bay against the Rays and had an 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. Did not play in the game last night as Manny Acta wanted to ease him into this series on the turf. All 6 games on this road trip were played on artificial turf.
And then they won't play on turf the rest of the season. He's been battling some knee problems over the last couple of years, has Grady Sizemore.
Chased a high fastball, and that's one of the problems when you're just coming back off the disabled list. Timing
and recognition of pitches, and it just hasn't been there for him. One of the best players in the American League before he was hurt. And he has battled some injuries over the last couple of years. He's had the elbow problem where he had his surgery on that. The microfracture surgery on his knee where he missed basically all of last season. Came back and then hurt his other knee on a slide into second base.
Breaking ball driven into left center, and nobody's going to get it. It's in between Patterson and Davis. Santana's coming around third. He will score. Sizemore ends up at second with a slide, and the Indians have taken a 1-0 lead. 3 doubles for the Indians, and Sizemore with his first base hit since coming off the disabled list.
And it was well placed to left field. I see Corey Patterson and Rajai Davis talking to each other. This ball hung up there for a long time, but it just finally fell to the ground. You see Davis coming hard and Patterson backing off of it. And after Davis threw it in, the both of them got together to talk about that play.
One of them has to go after that baseball. The other one backs up, and I'm sure that was the conversation. Okay, I'll go after the ball. You back me up, and the center fielder has to take charge on that. So there's still nobody out. Sizemore in scoring position for Matt Laporta, Orlando Cabrera, the second baseman. Cabrera drops down in the order tonight. Fights off that first pitch fastball. Cabrera had a single in last night's game. He was 1 for 4.
Offensive numbers for the Indians. You look at the RBIs and runs produced. They are up there. The Indians are third in the American League in runs per game, averaging almost 5 runs a game. They don't have the great power hitter like the Blue Jays have in the middle of their lineup, but they can manufacture runs. They have good situational hitters.
Been a bit of a struggle for Cabrera of late. Shelley Duncan, not in the lineup tonight, was responsible for the only Indians run in last night's game. Hit a home run into the 5th deck in the 4th inning off of JoJo Reyes. 0-2. Trying to go upstairs and missed the spot. Cabrera spoiled it. Well, he got a foul ball, but that sweater is not very popular here at Rogers Center. The Bruins will take on the Canucks tomorrow night. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. 0-2. Got him. Arancibia tags out Cabrera. That's the 3rd strikeout already for Brandon Morrow.
You don't have to throw every pitch in the strike zone to get hitters out. And he'll learn that right here as Cabrera, trying to advance that runner, swings at a pitch that is bouncing right off a home plate. Picks up the strikeout.
Now it'll be Matt Laporta, the first baseman, with 1 out. Laporta has had some success against Brandon Morrow. He's 3 for 6. He's also hit a home run. Laporta popped up 4 times in last night's game. There goes the base runner to third, and the ball is fouled off. That's not a very good swing by Laporta in that situation, as Sizemore had a running start.
That would have been his first stolen base of the season. What a jump. He timed it perfectly from Brandon Morrow. As soon as he turned around, he had that one stolen, but Laporta fouls the pitch off, so he's got to go back.
Yeah, that's just not being aware as a hitter. On the first pitch, you see such a great jump. You can see it right behind the pitcher. You got to let him get to third.
Yeah, even if it's right down the middle, you can let him steal that base.
Last 11 games, hitting just 171. When you're in that kind of slump, you don't notice anything but the pitcher.
Yeah. And you're hacking at everything.
And Laporta's in a hole, 0-2.
Don't need to throw him a strike now. Just like the Cabrera at bat where he struck him out. The prior hitter, you don't have to throw a strike.
Indians have taken a 1-0 lead on the RBI double by Grady Sizemore. Porter had waited long enough and asked for time. Ted Barrett called time before Morrow was into his motion. Still 0-2, one out here in the second inning. Brandon Morrow has given up a run on 3 hits so far. Had to get Laporta to chase that breaking ball, and he wouldn't go after it. Matt Laporta came to the Indians in a deal with the Milwaukee Brewers that sent C.C. Sabathia to the National League.
The whole idea was try to get some of the top prospects from the Brewers organization. He was former #1 pick, played some outfield, but has settled in as a first baseman for the Indians now. And they're hoping that he's a 20 home run power guy.
Just a good fastball came right after him, and Aaron Sevia asked for it inside, and Morrow delivered.
He hasn't had any problem going to the inner half to the right-handers. Wound up and threw that fastball right by him. 4 strikeouts now for Morrow.
So they're 2 down now for the #9 hitter, Jack Hanahan. Hanahan, 31 years old, and he has bounced around. Signed originally with the Detroit Tigers way back in 2001. Then he went to Oakland in a trade in 2007. Moved from Oakland to Seattle.
This winter, I was talking to his agent, and the 2 teams that it was down to was the Indians and the Blue Jays. And they asked me about the Blue Jays, and I said, well, you might want to go and sign with Cleveland. There's a kid they have over here named Laurie who's pretty good. I don't know how much time he's going to get past this year. So he ended up signing with Cleveland, and he has done a good job for him.
He's in a hole, 0-2. Strike 3 call. Oh, you're talking about 3 quality fastballs. Brandon Morrow carved up the strike zone to Jack Hanahan. He has 5 strikeouts. He strikes out the side in the second inning, but the Indians score a run. Cabrera chases the slider. Laporta can't catch up to the fastball, and Hanahan's overmatched.
Talbot tonight, he had a late start. 6 weeks he spent on the disabled list with a right elbow strain, like Buck was saying. This is just his 2nd start since coming off the DL. Pitch to contact, throws a lot of strikes and doesn't get a lot of walks, and he needs his command. 5 pitches that he can throw for strikes. He needs to stay out of the middle of the plate to be effective.
J.P. Arencibia had a couple of hits in last night's game. He was 2 for 4, and both those hits came in the 4th inning. Ball gets in on his fists a bit, and it's an easy play for Travis Buck in left.
Defensively for the Indians, and it's a good defensive team. The top 5 in fielding percentage: Travis Buck, Grady Sizemore, Shin Chu in the outfield, Matt Laporta, Jack Hanahan on the corners. The Cabreras, Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop, has started all 51 games for the Cleveland Indians this year. Grady Sizemore back in center field.
Aaron Hill takes the first pitch strike. Cabrera been a good player early on for the Indians. Breaking ball. Hanahan's a very good fielding third baseman. Makes a strong throw, 2 quick outs. Tonight it's Tweeting Tuesday, so you can tweet from your seat. Send at Blue Jays a quick picture of your view of the game from home, and one lucky winner could receive a Blue Jays prize pack. Send us a good picture and we'll determine a winner. Lots of things going on here Tuesday, and lots of fans here tonight tweeting and texting, and later on we'll be joined by the manager, John Farrell, as he'll visit with us from the dugout. Eric Thames gets hit by a pitch, and he'll be on board with 2 outs. So Talbot hits Thames with 2 outs. That's the last thing he wanted to do. Bottom of the order.
Yeah, put base runners on. Second time that he has hit a batter this year. Looks like the cutter tried to get in and hit him right on the belt. He's got the 5 pitches that I talked about in that scouting report, but he needs command. He's got the fastball, the slider, the curve. He cut his fastball a little bit, and he's got a very good changeup that he throws with good arm action.
Rajay Davis. Off the plate outside. Davis had 3 hits in the game last night, scored 3 runs and drove in 2. They had a heads-up base running play when he scored from second base on a grounder to Cabrera. Cabrera booted it for an error and then forgot about Davis, who came all the way around third and scored.
They were aggressive that inning with their bats. They swung at the first pitch 5 times and got 4 hits in that area you just talked about. But they were also very aggressive on the bases. And he is a spark plug, Rajay Davis, at the bottom of that lineup for John Farrell's team.
2-0. Drives it to center field. Sizemore gets back easily and makes the catch. Blue Jays get a runner on, but they'll strand him. The Indians have taken an early lead. They're 18-6 when they have scored first in ball games this year. I mean, I didn't think that they would hit John Lester around after what we saw the last 3 games in this series.
And that snapped Lester's 7-game win streak too, the way he was pitching.
Come back to the top of the order. Michael Brantley takes a pitch off the plate outside. First time through the order, Brandon Morrow threw 8 of 9 first pitch strikes.
5 strikeouts of the 9 batters also. Told you it could be a high strikeout night for Brandon Morrow. Indians with the 6th highest total in strikeouts in the American League, and he's averaging about 11 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Ball is driven to right field. Bautista turns his back on the track at the wall. This ball is off the wall. Davis backs him up. Brantley is headed for third base, and he'll get there. And for the 3rd consecutive inning, the Indians have the leadoff man in scoring position.
3 innings, 3 extra base hits. I don't think Jose Bautista saw this ball off the bat at all. Just turned his back, and when he ran back to the wall, just had no idea where it was. Michael Brantley has his first triple as he picks on that fastball. It's a high fly ball, and Bautista, watch him go back. And when he looks back up for the ball, really not sure where it is. It hits off the top of the wall. Davis runs it down, and Brantley standing on third.
Just about a foot shy from going out of the ballpark. First triple of the season for Michael Brantley. Asdrubal Cabrera struck out his first time up. Well, it's tough when you give up extra base hits to start the innings. It's hard to pitch around them. Morrow was able to get around the leadoff double by Brantley in the first, but Santana had a double in the second, and he scored.
You know, we talked about getting into your rhythm also as a pitcher and staying in your windup. You give up an extra base hit, you get right into that stretch position, and you just don't get into a good flow of the game.
Well, the one thing that Morrow has that's to his advantage is the ability to get the strikeout. This is when you don't want the ball hit. The infield is back. Anything on the ground on the infield, up the middle especially, should score a run. 1-1 to Cabrera. Chased a bad pitch. Boy, when you see that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you know you got to get the bat started early.
Yeah, and that might get that front hit to open up just a little bit too quickly. Cabrera has not had any fun so far tonight in his 2 at-bats against Brandon Morrow.
Or last night. Hit into 2 double plays and was 0 for 3. Didn't get the ball out of the infield. 1-2. That'll be a base hit, and Brantley will jog home. Cabrera hits the high breaking ball. A big turn around first, and he'll get back. So he delivers an RBI single. That ball was up. After Morrow threw a good fastball down, he left the breaking ball up on a tee for Cabrera.
Yeah, he did him a favor. This team is hitting over 300 as a team with runners in scoring position. They're just not missing those types of pitches. Up in the strike zone. He leads all AL shortstops in hits now with 63.
Chu looks at a fastball downstairs. Chu struck out in his first at bat. Average slipped under 250. Now keep your eye on Cabrera at first. He is 7 for 7 in steals. And they do.
He heard you. He plugged right into the broadcast.
We mentioned the Indians are 18-6 when they score first, and that's what they've done here tonight. They now have expanded their lead to 2-0.
24-3 when they out-hit their opponents.
There's another base hit into center field. Davis comes in, plays it on the big hop, and Cabrera stops at second.
Hit number 6 for the Indians already here in the 3rd inning. They are 5th in the American League in hitting, and they really haven't gotten Shin-Soo Choo going yet. Came into this game just at 250. He has hit 300 the last 2 seasons.
That last pitch is a great example that every pitch batters hit aren't mistakes. That was a good pitch. Threw it down where he wanted to, and you got to tip your cap to Chu. He made a good swing at it. Morrow in a jam here, still nobody out. A run in. Ouch. Travis Buck, you can see he's got a big shin guard on that front leg and has a tendency to top a lot of balls right down into his ankle and on top of his foot.
And I think he missed that shin guard too on that one. That one might have got at the top of his shoe.
If you're Brandon Morrow, you just have to be aware. You put up zeros from here on out. The hitters have been scoring so many runs, they'll get right back in this ballgame.
Got to work right through it right here. You got to slam the door and give the offense a chance. It's not like he's making bad pitches. You mentioned the Chu base hit. That wasn't that was a decent pitch right there. Indians have just brought their hitting shoes tonight.
Oh, they're a good ball club. At 31-20. They mentioned their 5-game lead in the Central. They've gone through a bit of a rough spot. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. Going back over a larger sampling, they've gone 11-12 over their last 23 games. 1-2 to Travis Buck. There go the base runners. Ball is popped out of play. Boy, Cabrera picked a good time to break from second. Had a big lead, big jump.
Travis Buck is probably saying, well, too bad it was with 2 strikes. I had to go ahead and swing at that one to protect my at bat. There's the runners in scoring position that we were talking about. The Indians lead all of baseball with that 305 average.
About 10 days ago, they were hitting 320 as a club. They cooled off a little bit. Arancibia blocks it, but Cabrera got a good break from second, and Chu follows him into second. Well, that's good base running right there. The ball didn't get that far away from the catcher, but Cabrera read it perfectly. Chu followed Cabrera.
When you are on the bases like that, you can see the flight of the baseball and judge if it's going to be in the dirt. You can see Cabrera, as soon as it hit the dirt, he was off. A lot of organizations teach once that ball gets in the dirt, you take off no matter what, because it's so hard for a catcher to find the ball, get rid of the mask, pick the ball up, and throw it to the right base. You have any kind of speed, you should be able to move up on a pitch like that.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Buck. Still nobody out. Good fastball. That's 6 strikeouts now for Brandon Morrow.
They've come at the right time with runners on base. Good, well-placed fastball there for strikeout number 6. Struck out the side last inning.
One out now, still second and third. Indians have taken an early 2-0 lead. Carlos Santana hit a ground rule double down the left field line. His first time up. You mentioned the Indians and how they are taught to be aggressive and run the bases very well. John Farrell's got something to do with that. He was the director of player development with the Indians, and he was responsible for putting that kind of mindset throughout the minor league system.
When he was there, they had a flurry of players come through that organization. Now they all got to Cleveland and since been traded. Players like Victor Martinez and Johnny Peralta come to mind, came through the farm system, and Farrell was the farm director. Fausto Carmona was there.
Ball and a strike on the Indians catcher. Ball is drilled to center field. Davis is back. This should score. Cabrera from third. Tagging up at second is Chu. He'll advance. And the Indians have taken a 3-0 lead. Santana picks up the RBI with a sac fly. Cabrera comes across.
Some more situational hitting by the Indians off of Brandon Morrow. Get a pitch up. You've got a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Get the ball into the outfield. Score the run easily. And Chu will move up to third base.
Well, that's a big 90 feet that Chu got because Morrow has thrown that breaking ball in the dirt. It was a wild pitch that allowed Chu and Cabrera to move up earlier in the inning. Sizemore already has a double. Indians have hit 3 doubles and a triple in this game. It's almost like he can throw that pitch at will. That fastball to the left-handers down and away at the knees.
You know, if you get those lefties looking over the plate like that, that's where the fastball in the inner half, I think, is going to be good for him. Then you can start throwing that slider. It's where your catcher can give you a lot of help, just getting a feel for what the hitter's trying to do up there.
Trying to come inside, and Morrow missed up and away. That spot has been golden. The only pitch that really was spoiled was the one that Chu hit. Basically a fastball in about the same spot. Chu hit it in the center.
Right down on the outside part of the plate. Sizemore doubled on a pitch, a breaking ball that was up. He just lofted it into left field for a hit.
2-2, 2 down. Struck him out. Well, Brandon Morrow is racking up the strikeouts, but the Indians are racking up the runs on extra base hits. They have taken a 3-0 lead, but Morrow strikes out 2 more in the inning. He has 7 after 3 innings.
Independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Perfect night for baseball at Rogers Center. The Indians have taken an early 3-0 lead. Former Indian Jason Nix will lead things off here in the third. Nix had a 2-run home run and a double in last night's game. Nix went to spring training with the Indians, and basically he was in a battle with Jack Hanahan for the third base job. Hanahan had a great spring, hitting .340 while Nix struggled. Jason hit just .176 in spring training. The high breaking ball pops out of the glove of Santana.
Nix had a decent year for Cleveland last year. Spent some time with the Indians, got into 78 games last year, got off to a rough start, but then turned it on and finished with 13 home runs and 280 at bats.
Chases that cutter off the plate outside. And Nix went to the White Sox, finished up the season in Chicago, played final 24 games, and then was claimed off waivers by the Indians again back in the spring training. 2-2. Full count. Mitch Talbot started out in the Astros organization. He went from Houston to Tampa Bay in a trade for Aubrey Huff. Line to the third baseman. We told you Hanahan could play third.
Yeah, he said he could pick it. He shows off his reflexes right there.
Jason Nix hit it right on the back.
He uses a big glove, and he needs every inch of that there to take away the hit from Nix. Timed his leap perfectly. That ball hooked right into his glove. Nice play. The size of his glove at third.
Interesting how many different gloves you'll see. One guy wants a smaller glove so he can really feel it. Another guy wants the biggest glove possible. And infielders will use different gloves according to which position they're playing as well. Third baseman traditionally like a big glove. You can see how he just fanned out the fingers to make it as big as possible.
Middle infielders want smaller gloves because they have to handle the ball a little bit more, and they have to be a little bit quicker with their hands.
One and one out. Breaking ball around the inside corner. We mentioned Talbot was originally signed by the Astros. He was a second-round pick in 2002. And then was traded July 12th of 2006 to Tampa Bay. Bouncing ball up the middle. That'll sneak under the glove of Cabrera into center. 1 out base hit. That stretches Escobar's hit streak to 12 games.
He's had a good homestand. Looked like a slider, and he stayed right with it. Didn't pull off of it. Hit it right back through the middle and under the glove of Escobar Cabrera. Second hit for the Blue Jays tonight.
Corey Patterson popped up to the third baseman his first time up. That's the one thing. The Blue Jays never feel like they're out of it. They're down 3-0. Remember, they had a 7-run fourth inning in last night's game, and they've been putting up a lot of crooked numbers lately. They had a 6-run first inning on Sunday against the White Sox.
22 runs and 33 hits those last 2 wins versus Chicago.
Patterson went too far. Fausto Carmona roughed up in his start here last night. Carmona was charged with 9 runs, 7 earned runs in just 4 innings. Corey Patterson's in a hole. Fouled into the glove of Santana. Patterson has struck out. First strikeout of the night for Mitch Talbot.
Not really a strikeout pitcher. Doesn't walk anybody. A lot of balls in play this time. Patterson just nicks it, but Santana holds on to it. You were talking earlier about Talbot coming over from Houston. How about doing your homework by the Tampa Bay Rays when they were trading Aubrey Huff? They got Talbot and some guy named Ben Zobrist in that deal.
That didn't hurt. Zobrist was basically a backup kind of player. They threw him over and played short a little bit. Now he's bossed him into a front line run producer for Tampa Bay. Bautista singled to right his first time up. Ball bounced away from Santana, but Escobar couldn't advance. And Tampa Bay, with their pitching depth, felt they had enough pitching, so they dealt Mitch Talbot to the Indians for Kelly Shoppach. Another deal that Tampa Bay dealt from strength.
Yeah, they have had some good young pitchers come up through that system the last couple of years, and they've been able to use it to fix up their major league team.
3-0. Talbot not too anxious to challenge the heart of the plate against Bautista.
Yeah, doesn't want any part of it. 3-0. I bet you he doesn't throw him a fastball.
He did. Look at the play by Hanahan. Boy, he just saved a base hit. He has been a good player throughout his career. Right there, he takes one away from Jose Bautista. A hot shot to the glove side. Bautista had the green light, got the fastball. Look at the play by Hanahan. Makes a good, strong throw for the force at second. Have struck out 7 times through 3 innings.
Just needs to get that leadoff batter. 3 straight innings, 3 straight extra base hits.
Mitch Talbot, just 2 hits allowed to the Blue Jays through 3 innings. Bottom third of the order. Cabrera jumps on the first pitch. Bautista backing up, makes the catch, running away from the diamond. 1 out. There's the first leadoff batter retired by Brandon Morrow. Matt Laporta was a strikeout victim in the second. Goes after the first pitch. Matt Laporta is just 26 years old. He was a highly touted high school player. He was drafted by the Cubs in the 14th round in 03, then by the Red Sox in the 14th round in 06, and finally taken 7th overall in 07 by the Milwaukee Brewers. And then just a year later, he was traded to the Cleveland Indians. But he was one of the guys, if you're going to trade a big time pitcher, you better get something in return, and they certainly got a high prospect, a 7th overall pick.
They run out and throw their scouts on him for a couple of weeks, watch him. They might have even had their eye on him in the draft that year, that they thought they might have been able to fall to him. Well, you keep an eye on him, watch him for a couple of years, and when there's a chance to make a deal, and Sabathia made it known that he wasn't going to sign back with Cleveland, they worked out a deal for Milwaukee and got a couple of nice players from him, Laporta and Michael Brantley.
2-1. Peel down to first base. Tim McCullen said Laporta went too far. It's 2-2. One out here in the 4th inning. Cleveland up 3-0. They scored a single run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. Mars had a fastball consistently 95, 96 miles an hour, and it's easy. It hasn't taken much effort to get up to that velocity.
Yeah, free and easy. It comes out of his hand and about halfway to home plate. It's what we used to call an exploding fastball. It just seems to have a second gear on its way to home plate. Start looking for that, and he throws that curveball, and you look foolish.
Full count.
But the thing that Bruce Walton has really been talking to Brandon Morrow over the last couple of years is becoming a complete pitcher. Let's flip a breaking ball in their first pitch and get ahead, strike one. Maybe take something off of your fastball in a fastball count. Have some quicker innings.
There's a breaking ball on a full count. That's exactly what you were talking about. A little bit more than just powering the heater. The breaking ball gets Laporta. Strikeout number 8.
That followed a pretty good fastball that Laporta fouled off. And then you throw that breaking ball 3-2. Hitters expecting you to challenge him with a fastball. You cross him up, and that's how you're going to get a lot of strikeouts.
Jack Hanahan, the 3rd baseman. And he's made a couple of good defensive plays here tonight. He robbed Jason Nix of a base hit and took one away from Bautista. Just off the outside corner. Don Wakamatsu had Hanahan both in Oakland and in Seattle and knows him very well, and always felt he could play well defensively on an everyday basis. Just been a matter of the consistent hitting.
Find a place in the lineup and give him a chance to play every day. They have a young player named Lonnie Chisenhall in their farm system who had a great spring. High draft pick just a couple of years ago. He had a great spring, but they sent him down because Hanahan, the veteran, can play at this level. They know he can play at this level.
I think Chisenhall had a great spring. 13 for 26, 500.
He did okay.
Yeah, he did okay. He had a couple of home runs. He's a good-looking player.
Yep. He's the 3rd baseman of the future, and they know it. But Hanahan has shown them that he belongs here also.
2-2, 2 outs. He lays off that pitch. Boy, the 3rd baseman of the future has been a very prominent phrase around here lately, huh? Of course, everybody's been talking about Brett Lawrie an awful lot, and Lawrie continues to put up phenomenal numbers down at Las Vegas.
There hasn't been a day go by that his name hasn't been talked about at the ballpark.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning. Hanahan will take the walk, and that'll turn the lineup over. Michael Brantley's had a couple extra base hits already tonight. He doubled and he tripled. Double came in the first. He tripled and scored in the third. Here's the other part of the CC Sabathia trade, and as you mentioned, he's a lot more than a throw-in. 23 years old, just turned 24 on the 15th of May.
Blue Jay fans would recognize another name that was in that trade from the Brewers to the Indians. Zach Jackson, left-handed pitcher, who was former #1 pick of the Jays. Went to Cleveland and not in the big leagues.
Fastball catches the outside corner. To me, a guy like Brantley is even more impressive than a #1 pick. He was picked 7th in the 7th round of the 2005 draft by the Brewers, and to me that's the best part of scouting, when you can get a player that's not a first rounder, not a first or second rounder, somebody's down in the draft. That shows me good knowledge of projections. Of course, Mickey Brantley, Michael's father, was a major league player and the former hitting coach here in Toronto, so everybody around baseball had to believe that the genes meant something. But I like it when a player can come out of the lower rounds of the draft and make it to the big leagues.
High school player. He was drafted out of high school, and that's what you pay the scouts the money for. They can project players 4, 5 years into the future, how big they are going to be, how smart they are, how they're going to develop. And he has turned into a very good major league player.
Delayed steal, nobody covers second, and Hanahan stole them. He caught the infield flat-footed. The delayed steal worked to perfection. As Escobar didn't pick up on the break, Hanahan delayed his break at first and steals it easily.
As a manager, you watch the middle infield after every play. After every pitch, do they put their head down? And it looked like the Blue Jays middle infield were putting their head down after every one of those pitches. Hanahan picks up his 2nd stolen base of the season, and that one is on the middle infielders.
2nd steal of the season. Hanahan has himself in scoring position. And now Escobar breaks in behind him, but Morrow wasn't ready to make it throw. Watch the lead at first.
It's 1, 2, 3, and then take off. You get 3 hops and then you take off. You hope to catch the middle infielder sleeping, and that's exactly what happened with the Indians.
1 and 2. Brantley seeing the ball very well tonight. He doubled to the left field line and then hit a triple off the top of the right center field fence. Boy, those are the subtleties that Jack Hanahan brings to this team. Picking up a stolen base with 2 outs early in a ball game, gets himself into scoring position.
Play good defense. We've already seen that tonight.
Brantley tried to check down at third. The umpire Marvin Hudson rings him up. Brantley goes too far, and Blue Jays dodge a bullet. As Jack Hanahan got himself into scoring position, he caught the infielders flat-footed, but then Brantley chases one in the dirt. 9 strikeouts now for Morrow. That's kept him in the ball game. NFL quarterback turned analyst Jesse Palmer. He's in Toronto enjoying a great night at the ballpark on a perfect night for baseball. The roof is wide open and it seems as though summer is not that far away. Indians up 3-0. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 in the Blue Jays order. Juan Rivera hit into an inning-ending double play in the first. This is only the second start for Talbot against the Blue Jays. His only other start came last year back in Cleveland. And it was interesting looking at the lineup he faced that night. Quite a few different names. Rivera pops it out of play. Fred Lewis was the leadoff hitter that night. And obviously he's gone. Adam Lind was hitting third. Vernon Wells was hitting fourth. Overbay fifth. Gonzalez, that's Alex Gonzalez, was hitting sixth. Bautista hit seventh. John Buck hit eighth. And Travis Snyder hit ninth.
So how many are left today? Aaron Hill
and Jose Bautista. 2.
It was about a year ago.
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
No, yeah, May 3rd.
A little over a year.
Just a little over the year.
And the pitcher that he went up against had a great day that day.
Brett Cecil, and he's not with the ball club right now either.
He had the perfect game or the no-hitter or something.
Threw a perfect game into the 7th with 1 out, and then walked Grady Sizemore and walked Chu right behind him, but got out of that inning. He had a run. He struck out 10 in 8 innings. Brett Cecil was the winner in that game. He improved to 2-1 at that time, but Blue Jays hit 3 home runs against Mitch Talbot. That night Cecil was really on his game. The strikeout was a big pitch for him, obviously, and as we mentioned, he was perfect through 6 1/3. Grady Sizemore walked with 1 out in the 7th. First base runner to reach.
8 innings that night, just 1 run. That was it.
3-2. Rivera goes after a high pitch and pops it over near first. Laporta is there. We are just a day away from the opener of the 2011 Stanley Cup Final. Tune in for Canucks Connected Stanley Cup Edition tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time on Sportsnet East Ontario, West and Pacific. It's presented by Toyota. Should be a great series. A couple of very good hockey clubs. Boy, the Canucks had a lot of rest. They haven't played many games over the last 3 weeks.
All I hear up here is Vancouver's going to win. Bam. Done. Done deal. Sealed the deal. I know we can't say that in Boston. they might shoot us. You know.
No, I think it captures.
Run us out of town or something.
Yep. Good Canadian team and one of the original 6. Should be a great series. 1-1. J.P. Arencibia drives it back up the middle. He's got another base hit. 1 out base hit for Arencibia.
What a month of May for J.P. Arencibia it has been. He has hit 4 home runs this month. And he just looks more comfortable as we get into this season, both offensively and defensively.
Aaron Hill grounded to third his first time up. Hill with his first home run of the season on Sunday. It was a grand slam home run. Hits this ball through the hole to the left. Another good example of an aggressive approach. First pitch swinging. Hill gets his first hit of the night.
We saw yesterday with those 7 runs in this inning, a 4th inning. In last night's game was golden for the Blue Jays. And it's golden for Aaron Hill. He got hit in that inning to keep it going. That time he hits it in the 5-6 hole.
So the rookie Eric Thames was hit by a pitch his first time up. Dwayne Murphy, the hitting coach, is very optimistic about Thames' future as a hitter. The one thing that has impressed Murphy is Thames' eye. He's got a great eye and has the ability to lay off borderline pitches. But it's an adjustment. Murphy said that Thames is seeing breaking balls he's never seen before. Big leaguers have the ability to continue that break. First and second, one out.
Here it is. Changeup. First pitch. And he watched it all the way into the catcher's glove. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a good hitter at the major league level. First thing you look at when you're watching young hitters, what kind of hands do they have? They have quick hands.
What a play by Laporta. Takes a hit away from Thames. Boy, the Indians have played some defense here early on. Laporta diving to his left, takes a sharp one-hopper and then gets the out at first.
Good chance that that was going to be extra bases for Eric Thames and probably 2 RBIs. But Laporta with that glove closest to the line stretches out, takes that tricky hop. Watch it at the minute, last second, high bounce, and he makes the play and saves a couple of runs for his starter.
Hanahan's made 2 good defensive plays. Now Laporta with one of his own. Rajay Davis, second and third, 2 outs. First pitch swinging. Davis can fly. Tough play for Cabrera. He delivers. Again, the infield playing very well behind Mitch Talbot. Asdrubal Cabrera unloaded in a hurry and closes out the threat for the Blue Jays. We've played 4 here. Indians have a lead. Now it's time for a connected update with Jamie and Greg live from the Black Ray broadcast studio. Off here in the 5th inning, and he's had a big home run season. He's homered 10 times this season. He has 28 career home runs, so he's had a coming out season, and he has really turned into an outstanding run producer at shortstop for the Cleveland Indians.
Certainly has. The baseball bio for Asdrubal Cabrera.
Baseball Bio is brought to you by Transitions Adaptive Lenses.
Age just 25, he was acquired by the Indians in June of 2009 from the Seattle Mariners for Eduardo Perez. Here are the 10 home runs that you just mentioned. One of those home runs against the Reds that was part of a 5-for-5, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, stolen base day that he had against my hometown Cincinnati Reds as they swept them in Cleveland.
Average up to 300 now. He picked up an RBI with a single into center.
He was playing shortstop, or excuse me, second base when Johnny Peralta was here playing shortstop. His natural position is shortstop, and when they traded Peralta last year, they moved him over to shortstop, and he's been outstanding.
He's now hit in 18 of his last 21 games. He's been very consistent and among shortstops. He leads all American League shortstops in runs, hits, home runs, and RBI.
Has started every game this year for the Indians at short.
Ball on the strike. There's a curveball in there. Indians have scored 3 runs on 6 hits. Blue Jays have been held to 4 hits, and the defense for the Indians has taken a couple away.
That play Cabrera made to end the inning wasn't an easy play. He had to be very aggressive on that play because Davis was running, and he charged that ball, took it right off the turf, and made a good play to end the inning.
Bounced foul. And those are the types of plays that all-stars make. You know that it's going to cost a run if you don't make the play. It'll keep the inning alive, but Cabrera never panicked. Calmly threw a strike to first to end the inning and strand 2 base runners.
You lay back on that ball, try and play it square, you have no chance to get Rajai Davis at first.
Cabrera was signed originally as a free agent out of Venezuela. He was 16 years old and was signed by the former Blue Jays scout Bob Engel. Engel at the time was scouting internationally for Seattle. Engel was also responsible for Felix Hernandez. But the Mariners traded Cabrera and Chu in the same deal and got Eduardo Perez. Ball is popped up a mile high right near second base. Hill calls for it. Cabrera's retired, went out here in the 5th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell for an update. Max Scherzer trying to improve on his 6-2 record. Scherzer got roughed up the last time out, but he's matched up against Brian Dunsing tonight. Chu pops it into foul territory. Patterson gets there, and Morrow has the first 2 out here in the 5th. For the last 2 innings, the Indians have failed to get the leadoff man on, and Morrow has been able to keep him off the scoreboard so far.
He's been a different pitcher also, finding his release point, staying in his windup.
Left fielder Travis Buck lined out and struck out. Buck hit .393 in the spring to make this ball club. He got a minor league contract and an invite to spring training back in December. Previously spent his entire career with the Oakland Athletics. Brandon Morrow has 9 strikeouts so far tonight. Quite a contrast in his last outing. In his last outing, he didn't really feature the strikeout all that often, but it was a much easier effort for him.
Had his lowest strikeout total of the year with just 5. One other thing he did in his last start, he threw first pitch strikes in 18 of the 28 batters. And that certainly will help you mow down the competition, jumping ahead like that.
Here he gives up a 4-pitch 2-out walk. The second walk he's issued tonight.
I'm sure he will trade some of those strikeouts for some first pitch swinging ground balls to the shortstop. Keep his pitch count down so he can stick around here a little bit longer.
Well, pitch count will allow you to pitch deeper into the game, and the longer you stay on the mound, the better chance you have that your offense is going to score you a couple of runs. Carlos Santana's had a good night at the plate. Sac fly and a double. He's scored a run and driven in a run.
Good young looking hitter right here. He squares up to the pitcher, holds that bat high. We were talking about Eric Thames and having good hands when you're hitting. This guy's got some good hands too. That back comes through there so quick. That helps you to wait on the ball a little bit longer. He's got power both ways. He's a switch hitter, but he can hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere. And a lot of that has to do with that good bat speed that he has.
One and one. Santana just turned 26 years old. And I still shake my head the fact that the Dodgers signed him and then traded him to Cleveland for Casey Blake.
Stole him.
Yeah.
The Indians stole him from the Dodgers. They had their eye on him when he was a young player. They were going to try and sign him. But he signed with the Dodgers instead. And that goes back to good scouting and watching him and putting that information in and remembering it. So when you have a chance, when the Dodgers come calling and they say, hey, we want Casey Blake, we need a third baseman to help us get into the playoffs. That's when you can remember, if you're the general manager, you say, hey, how about that Santana kid who's in A-ball?
Yeah, how about that Santana kid? 1 and 2. Ripped down the right field line. That ball will go all the way into the corner. Travis Buck is coming toward third. He's getting the wave to go home. Here's the throw from Aaron Hill. Aaron Sevia's got it and drops the ball. Perfect relay and cutoff throw from Aaron Hill. Aaron Sevia got ahead of himself and dropped the ball. Boy, Bautista made a great throw to Aaron Hill, who in turn made a great relay throw to the plate.
Just like you ride it up in spring training when you practice cutoffs and relays. Santana rips that ball into the corner in right field. Bautista to Hill on target. And you're right, it looked like J.P. Arencibia got ahead of himself, thinking that Buck was a little bit closer. You've got to catch it, secure it with the other hand, and then go and make the tag.
Bautista Hill. Ball was a little bit of a short hop, but Arencibia went to tag it before he secured the ball in his glove. Santana delivers a 2-out double. RBI. He goes to third on the throw to the plate. 4-0 Indians. Santana has 2 doubles, a sac fly. He's driven in 2. Grady Sizemore. Five extra base hits tonight for the Indians. Travis Buck, the 2-out walk again, coming back to haunt Brandon Morrow. Scores all the way from first.
Looked like he was going to have a very easy inning. Got the pop up.
Grady Sizemore hits it to center. Davis on the run. It's over his head, off the wall. Santana comes in to score. Sizemore will stop at second. Boy, the Indians are doing a great job hitting with runners in scoring position. They deliver another hit.
And another extra base hit. The second double this inning. The 6th extra base hit of the night. 2-0 fastball. And Grady Sizemore smokes it to center field. No chance for Davis to run that one down like he did the other night. Sizemore has his 12th double.
Well, he got off to a slow start. He went 0 for 12 in his first 3 games off the disabled list, but he has picked it up here tonight.
He was one of the best players, I thought, in the American League before injuries have shut him down somewhat the last couple of years. Power and speed from Sizemore.
And a very good defensive player as well.
He was a 30 home run hitter to go along with 30 stolen bases back in 2008.
Orlando Cabrera drills it down the left field line. That'll get down and go all the way to the wall. Sizemore around third. And Cabrera will stop at first base with a long RBI single. It is 6-0 Cleveland.
Yeah, it looked like an easy inning. Cabrera popped up early in the count. Chu flew out to left field on the first pitch he saw. Then a 4-pitch walk, double, and now this single on the first pitch from Cabrera down the left field line. Played by Patterson. He gets it in quickly, holds him to a single. And just like that, it's 6-0. Luis Perez is up in the bullpen very quickly, trying to get ready.
Matt Laporta goes after the first pitch and pops it over near the wall. Nix waits on the warning track, and he makes the catch. Laporta is retired to end the 5th. But the Indians score 3 more. They have taken a 6-0 lead, middle of the 5th. Player previously held that record.
Can we answer? No.
You can't answer.
I know that
I
one.
know. That's the only one you've known for a while. So, no, you can't answer that. So you have to send us your tweet answer on that question. Well, Blue Jays got some work to do. It'll be 9-1 Chu as they trail the Indians by 6. This is exactly the type of ball games that the Indians have played all season long. They always come up with clutch hits as they've done tonight. No one guy in the order they look to provide the offense. There's tremendous balance up and down the 9-man lineup.
And they don't bludgeon you to death like the New York Yankees when you go in the Yankee Stadium and they're popping home runs out of that ballpark. They hit the ball from foul line to foul line. They keep the lineup moving, and they are very tough when they are swinging the bats like they are tonight.
Nix in a hole, 0-2. Off-speed pitch, strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout for Mitch Talbot.
Well, he likes it on the road, does Mitch Talbot. Look what he has done at home compared to on the road. His ERA under 3 when he takes his act on the road. 7-4. Home runs allowed, he cut that in half. That game that we were talking about the last time the Blue Jays saw him, that came in Cleveland where they knocked him around. He gave up 5 runs, 4 of them on home runs last year. Looks like a different pitcher.
You know, Escobar has extended his hit streak to 12 games. That matches his career high. Been on pace twice tonight. He walked in the first and singled center in the third. 2-1. Talbot, quite a turnaround from his previous start. He gave up 7 runs in the first game against the Red Sox in a game in which Boston would eventually win 14-2. That changeup has been a good pitch for him. He struck out Nix to start this inning with that changeup.
Not afraid to throw it at any point in the count. He'll pitch to contact. He's only had 2 strikeouts tonight.
Came right back with it. And there's a 1-out walk. Fans, a reminder, America's Got Talent, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Pacific, 9 Mountain Time, and 7 Central on CTV. America's Got Talent. One-out walk to Escobar. Corey Patterson has been hitless in 2 trips. Blue Jays have just 4 hits, but boy, the Indians defense has robbed them of some opportunities. Third baseman Jack Hanahan's made a couple of good plays. One on Jason Nix to snare a liner, and a good play on a bouncing ball off the bat of Bautista. There's a bunt up the third base line, and Patterson has beat it out. Well, Corey Patterson doesn't bunt a lot, but when he gets it down, it's pretty much academic.
It doesn't have to be perfect, not with the way that he can run. Get it down in a good spot and just outrun the baseball. He does that, drops it down off the plate. That big bounce helped him out. No chance for either Talbot or the third baseman Hanahan to throw him out. Patterson quickly gets on base. And that'll bring Bautista with a couple of runners on. They've been doing it now for 2 or 3 weeks. The top of that order has really set the table for Jose Bautista.
Escobar has been on base all 3 times. Now Patterson is reached, and Bautista has a chance to get the Jays right back in this game. He's hit the ball hard twice already tonight. Just fouled it back, got underneath it a bit. The numbers are a little deceiving, just 237 for Bautista, but we all know how tough pitchers have worked him with a chance to drive in runs.
Lots of breaking balls, like that one right there. The splits for Mitch Talbot, lefties versus righties, is much tougher on right-handed batters. Coming into this game, righties were hitting just 192, lefties over 400. Take that slider away from him, and you're a left-handed hitter.
Bautista in a hole, 0-2. Breaking ball. Talbot looks a lot sharper tonight, obviously, than he was his first time out, and that has to do with another start under his belt, a little bit further removed from the elbow strain.
Made a couple of rehab starts down in the minor leagues after coming off the 15-day disabled list. To the changeup. That's been a very effective pitch for Mitch Talbot. He gets a big strikeout of Bautista. Jose has had a big month of May. Well, he comes up empty here. Changeup. Takes a lot of guts right here to throw it to a home run hitter, but it's in a good spot with great arm action. Bautista swings right over the top of it. Just the third strikeout this evening for Mitch Talbot, and that's a big one.
Great arm action on that changeup, and Bautista tried to wait as long as possible. He was still out in front. 2 outs for Rivera.
Rolls it right off the end of his pinky finger. A little bit different than the Jason Frazier type of split change that we see. He's got the little split grip, and he throws it with his first 2 fingers. Talbot's is a little bit different. Rolls it right off the end of his hand, where his pinky is the last finger that touches the ball. It's got that side spin on it.
He's made some good quality pitches when he's needed them. Blue Jays have had a few runners on. They've already stranded 5 in this game. And Talbot got a double play to end the first inning. A couple good defensive plays came in the third inning. Then a run-saving play by Matt Laporta off the bat of Eric Thames in the fourth inning. Going 2 to Rivera. Well, by now the Blue Jay hitters are aware that Talbot will throw that changeup. Tough to lay off with 2 strikes, even though you're trying to be short and protect the strike zone.
Yeah, it's like Fausto Carmona's fastball yesterday. If it starts about your thigh high or knee high, it's going to drop out of the strike zone, but it looks so tempting and so easy to hit. It's right there, and then it just drops straight down. Got to have that discipline at the plate to lay off of it.
Pretty good pitch. I don't know how you lay off of that pitch if you're Rivera. It's a tough one to take.
Yeah, 90-mile-an-hour. It looked like a cutter that he threw down and away.
Rivera's had some extended at bats lately. It suggests you really see the ball well, and he's got confidence now. He doesn't have to start the bat too early. He can stay back, and he's spoiled a lot of good pitches.
He had one of the best at bats of the season for anybody the other day. 10 pitches and a bases clearing double to left field against Chicago. Saw just about every pitch in that at bat, and then knocked one off the wall for 3 runs.
Came against Jesse Crane on Saturday in the 7th inning. 2-2. Folks, this one to first. Laporta is there. He'll go to the bag, and the Blue Jays strand a couple of more. They've left 7 on base. Mitch Talbot has pitched tough with runners in scoring position. It's a beautiful night in Toronto. Indians are up 6-0. What about here in the 6th inning? Brandon Morrow's night has come to an end. A disappointing outing for him against Cleveland.
Ties his second shortest outing of the season. 5 innings, took him 95 pitches to get through. The strikeouts were there. He had a good fastball, good breaking ball, but at times he just couldn't put it where he needed to. Indians touch him up for 6 earnings and 9 hits in those 5 innings. So Morrow's evening is over.
6 extra base hits really led to his undoing. He'll turn things over to the left-hander Luis Perez. Perez picked up his first major league win on Saturday in relief in that 14-inning affair against the White Sox.
He was just what the doctor ordered in that game. 3 2/3 innings. He gave up just 2 hits in that game. Picked up the win, like you said, his first big league win. Threw 6 balls or 6 pitches out of the strike zone in 3 2/3 innings. I mean, he was masterful.
And he continues that approach, going strike 1 to third baseman Hanahan. A little flare into left field. Patterson over to his left, misplays it. Goes over his outstretched glove. Hanahan's headed to second, and he'll get there. Boy, Patterson ran over, had a beat on it, and when he reached up, it was beyond his reach.
Came up empty on that ball. The ball jams Hanahan a little bit. It's an inside-out swing. He takes a good route to it, but watch when he gets to it. He reaches up and misplays it.
Looked like an easy play as he got a good jump, and the ball just carried a little bit deeper than he anticipated. It's ruled a double. That's the 7th extra base hit for Cleveland tonight. Back to the top of the order. Michael Brantley's had a good night. He's doubled, he's tripled, and he scored a run. Brantley's the DH tonight. He started in center field last night. Saw John Farrell in the dugout, and this is the thing that makes managers shake your head. Last night, 11 runs on 13 hits. Say, okay, well, we're swinging hot bats now. Talbot got roughed up last time out. Everything's in our favor. And we have Brandon Morrow going to the mound.
Yeah, the matchup looks like, okay, Morrow's got a big strikeout pitch against a team that strikes out a lot. There won't be a lot of base runners, and it's the total opposite of what we thought was going to happen so far in this game. Talbot has really stymied the Blue Jays, giving up just 5 hits.
That ball is a fair ball. Rivera will step on the bag, and Brantley's retired. Hanahan moves over to third on the put out. The Indians have done such a great job playing at home. They're 19-6 at their home ballpark. There's 12-14 on the road. Well, boy, sometimes you can run away from the pack early in the season and nobody can catch you. Have a 5-game lead over the Tigers.
How about all the great Indians teams just in our era, in the 90s and then in the 2000s, the great teams that they had where they were winning the American League Central? It seemed like year after year. This April, the Indians set a new franchise record for wins in April with 18.
Yeah,
who saw that?
That's remarkable for a team that was 25 games out of first place last year, lost 93 games. Maniacta's first season with the Indians.
You come out of the chute smoking.
Infield is in, trying to save this run. Asdrubal Cabrera has a hit. He scored a run and driven in a run tonight. Cabrera has now hit in 18 of his last 21 games.
He has been the top AL run producer as a shortstop this year. When you have hot starts like we were just talking about with the Indians, there's usually 2, maybe 3 players that are just unconscious the first month of the season. This is one of them right here.
Breaking ball lifted down the left field line, hooking foul into the seats. Boy, they have driven some good pitches way back, and Cabrera obviously thinking about getting something to the outfield. He's got 36 RBI now. He's closing in on the top 10. Escobar looks the runner back at third, and boy, he almost threw that ball before he gave Hanahan another look. Made a fine play to save a run at shortstop.
That's why you bring the infield in. You hope that the batter hits it to one of your infielders. The runner at third base plays like it's got to go through. Escobar has it, takes a quick look, and then that great arm. Plenty of time to get Cabrera at first base. You're already in scoring position and you have your best hitters at the plate. You're not going to run into an out.
Chu fouls it out of play. Sin-Shu Chu has a hit in 3 at-bats. Escobar saved a run. Fine defensive play at shortstop. Perez loved to be able to strand the runner at third. Hanahan reached on a misplayed double to left field. Looked like a fly ball routine out. Corey Patterson took a shallow route. The ball carried over his outstretched glove. Good breaking ball, and Perez bounces back. The leadoff double doesn't hurt as Perez strands a base runner. Good breaking ball gets Chu. Perez has impressed his manager. Every coffee you buy will help store owners send deserving kids to camp, an experience that can open their eyes to their own potential. So this June 1st, make a point of coming down to Tim Hortons to celebrate Camp Day. It'll be a grand slam.
I might go twice tomorrow.
Nothing like a good cup of coffee in the morning.
I don't need any excuse to go.
And you will help a kid go to camp. Hard to believe it's June 1st. Tomorrow. Blue Jays 28-26, off to a pretty good start. And sooner or later they're going to have their whole team intact. Possibly even this weekend. Sounds like Adam Lynn might be able to join the Blue Jays over the weekend in Baltimore.
Yeah, Adam got into a game yesterday.
Arancibia bounces it to the shortstop. Quick out here to start the 6th. 1 out into 6. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. They have a real dilemma there in Chicago as far as who they're going to take out of their 6-man rotation. Peavy pitched good in the opener. Umbers pitched well. Umbers is arguably their best pitcher.
Yeah, I can't see them taking him out of the lineup. Decisions. They also made some moves in their bullpen also. Remember, they were carrying just 6 bullpenners.
It was a base hit for Aaron Hill. Sat back on the breaking ball and drilled it into center field.
Chicago White Sox brought up Jeff Marquez and Brian Bruni today in that bullpen. And they'll make decisions about those 6 starters probably Thursday when they have an off day.
Thursday on the off day, and they sent back Lucas Harrell, who we saw in relief here during that series. He came up and pitched just 1 game in relief. Eric Thames was robbed of a potential extra base hit on an outstanding play at first by Matt Laporta. That came in the 4th inning. Dwayne Murphy trying to get to know Eric Thames as a hitter. Obviously, he was with the ball club all spring long, but when you see a young hitter facing major league pitching, you get a better idea for just exactly what he needs to work on.
He needs to work on the pitchers, giving him a few more fastballs on the inner half. They have really messed with his mind, throwing a lot of breaking pitches.
Even Murphy acknowledged that, saying he's not seen a rookie get such a steady diet of breaking balls and changeups that he has seen with Thames.
When rookies come up, don't they try and see if they can hit the fastball? That's the first thing they do.
Bounces this to Laporta. Throw to second base in time for 1. Back to first. Not in time. But Laporta's played good over at first base. Made a strong throw to second to get the lead runner.
First baseman, you catch the ball first and make a good throw. Then you worry about getting back to the bag. A little tricky hop at the end there. Throws the ball to the inner half of the diamond. Gives Asdrubal Cabrera a nice throw, right about chest high. But they can't turn it over.
2 outs now. Rajai Davis has gone 0 for 2 so far.
Rajai had 3 hits in yesterday's game. He has hit .351 over his last 9. That batting average now up over .270. And when he gets on base, what a dynamo.
Gets out in front of this pitch and lifts a lazy fly ball into center. Sizemore is there. Blue Jays are retired in the 6th. We've played 6 complete. The Indians with a comfortable lead. trivia. We asked earlier, Jose Bautista became the fastest Blue Jay player to reach 20 home runs in a season. Which former Blue Jay player previously held that record? Partner?
Well, let's take the Wayback Machine back to 1987. And I believe that was George Bell who did it the fastest.
George Bell had the previous record. Jose Bautista established that record 44 games. George Bell is up on the Ring of Excellence. Our contest winner was Chad Garrett from Cambridge, Ontario. He had the right answer and was able to reach us on Tweeting Tuesday. Congratulations to Chad. Little ground ball. Escobar is going to have to throw on the run in time to get Travis Buck first out of the seventh. Been some pretty good defense on both sides of the diamond tonight.
And it certainly helps to have a shortstop to have this kind of arm. You got to have good range at shortstop, strong, quick hands, and a strong arm. That time he makes up for that with a good, hard throw over to first base. Impressive arm at shortstop.
Carlos Santana's had a big night. Pair of doubles, sac fly. He's driven in 2. First time as a right-handed hitter tonight. Well, what a luxury to have a switch-hitting catcher. This gives you ability to keep him in the game all the time. There was some talk that they would move Santana out from behind the plate. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, he brings the added dimension of offense to behind the plate. He's a good catcher, good leader behind the plate.
Well, he's athletic enough that when they do give him days off, instead of DHing him or giving him the days off, they put him at first base. And what a luxury to be able to have your backup catcher in the game, give your everyday catcher some time off, keep his bat in the lineup, and he can play a position.
And he rips this into center field. Just turns around the other side of the plate and has another good swing. 3 for 3 with a sac fly. Remember, folks, America's Got Talent, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Pacific, 9 Mountain Time, 7 Central Time on City TV. That's America's Got Talent. Oh, Santana's a good-looking hitter. Doesn't make any difference which side of the plate he's standing on. Grady Sizemore has had a breakout game. Had a pair of doubles. Scored a run and driven in 2. Coming into this game, he was 0 for 12 since coming off the disabled list and had 7 strikeouts.
Tampa Bay really took care of him. David Price pitched in one of those games.
Cleveland was shut out twice in the 3-game series. Price on Friday night and then Jeremy Hellickson on Sunday. They won the middle game of the 3 games. They beat James Shields 7-3.
They've run into some pretty decent pitching over the last 23 games. You mentioned they were just 11 and 12 over the last 23 games.
Sizemore hits it on the ground. Hill quickly to Escobar, back to first in time. Well, that was a pretty double play. Wasn't hit that sharply. Sizemore can run, but Hill gave Escobar a good feed. Middle of the 7th. Blue Jays trail by 6. strikeouts, and it's taken him just 85 pitches.
6 singles by the Blue Jays. They have had base runners every inning. They've left 8 on through 6 innings. Just 2 walks, no earned runs for Talbot as he works into the 7th inning. Right before he had that right elbow strain, he pitched 8 innings at Los Angeles against the Angels, 8 shutout innings. So this looks like the Talbot that they got right before he went on the disabled list.
Jason Nix was robbed in his first at bat. The line shot looked like it was headed into left field, but Jack Hanahan went to his left and speared the line drive. Nix went to spring training with the Indians, trying to win a job at third base, was in a battle with Jack Hanahan. This is popped up, should be playable. The first baseman, Matt LaPorta, in fair territory, makes the catch. It is Twitter Tuesday. Here's the Twitter question of the game. Jay Diggity 83 asks, how is it that a major league pitcher gets movement on a two-seam fastball? Is it from finger pressure or release?
I think you just have to learn how to do it. I asked John Farrell today, can you teach a guy how to throw a two-seamer? He says, absolutely you can. Now, some guys just have a natural ability to throw a two-seamer, like a Fausto Carmona, who we saw last night. He said there are other pitchers that their arm release, how they release the ball, they just can't do it. He mentioned Jojo Reyes. They tried to get him to throw a two-seamer, and the way he throws the ball, he just can't do it. David Wells, he said, just couldn't throw a two-seam fastball. So you can teach guys to do it, but a lot of it has to do with your arm action, your arm speed.
When you have a guy like Fausto Carmona, he grabs it, throws it with two seams, and the bottom just drops out. There's no explanation for it, just the way his hand finishes up on the baseball. Pretty dramatic. 1-1. We used to have a pitch for the Blue Jays in the mid-'80s, Jim Acker, and he had a hard sinker, and a lot of hitters accused him of throwing a spitball. It was so dramatic.
The old bowling ball.
Brandon
sinker.
Webb, when he was healthy with the Diamondbacks.
I think a lot of it, Buck, has to do with pitchers that have big hands and strong fingers. There was a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians who was the #1 pick a few years back, Adam Miller, who could throw 100 miles an hour. And he tore the ligaments in his fingers because he threw a sinker so hard. Great arm speed. So I think those pitchers with the big hands and the big fingers have the ability to get that on top of it and get that good sink.
Joe Smith starts to loosen up for the Indians as Escobar takes the 1-out walk. Escobar's been on base 4 times tonight, single and 3 walks. Corey Patterson had a bunt base hit his last time up. Boy, Talbot's done a good job of throwing fastball hitters a lot of off-speed pitches.
That's what John Farrell told us in the 4th inning. How do you get to Mitch Talbot? He said he's throwing some good pitches in the strike zone, and we just haven't been able to cover up his changeup. It's been that good. And he is now pitching into the 7th inning and doing the same stuff.
The ball in the strike. Blue Jays might not get through this part of the lineup again unless they get something going. There's 1 out here in the 7th inning. Patterson batting, Bautista on deck. Another off-speed pitch. Very difficult to stay back Talbot has enough fastball to keep you honest. It's not like he can just go up there and look change up on every pitch.
Yeah, low 90s with some good movement. He'll cut that fastball in on the lefties also, but it's been the changeup. I think that's been his best pitch tonight. Lefties hitting over 400 against him, so a chance to take advantage of it here.
Patterson just battling to stay alive. It's a high breaking ball. He just tapped out of play. Indians scored 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fifth. Patterson's putting up a good fight. Love to see him get on and bring Bautista to the plate with 2 on. Bautista singled his first time up. He was robbed of a base hit in the third. Also struck out. Bouncing ball to second. Escobar had to wait for it to go by. They'll get the lead runner. Patterson reaches on the fielder's choice. Maniac has made the walk out of the dugout. Looks like he's going to make a change. He's got the sidearmer Joe Smith ready for Bautista. Talbot has done a good job. He's kept his team in it. He shut out the Blue Jays, and he will turn things over to Joe Smith in the bullpen. Around the success of Justin Morneau. It's been a tough start to his season, but 2 home runs tonight. Sidearmer Joe Smith comes in. He has handled Bautista. Bautista 0 for 3 against the Indians reliever.
Lots of off-speed pitches from Smith. The sidearm, like you mentioned, 16 appearances, 14 of them have been scoreless. And there's that frisbee slider.
Smith's done a good job retiring 9 of the 11 first batters he's faced. That's key in a situation here with 2 outs. All the way back to the screen. Patterson will go to second. That ball took off.
(0-2). You're right. From down under, that ball just took off on Santana. He can barely get a glove on it. Goes back to the screen.
Off the end of the bat, Orlando Cabrera in shallow right. Throw is off the glove of Laporta. Patterson will come in to score. The Blue Jays are on the board. Well, Bautista hit it off the end of the bat and kind of cued it to second base. Cabrera was shaded up the middle, anticipating Bautista pulling the ball.
And I think Bautista knew where they were, so he stays on it, hits it to the right side. Cabrera can't get around and get his feet underneath him to make this throw. Tries to throw on the run, but pulls it. Bautista, I think, recognizes the infield's playing him up the middle. There's a hole on the right side, stays on it. Almost gets it into the outfield. But Cabrera puts it up, can't make the play, and it'll probably go as an infield single.
Infield single, an error to Cabrera that allowed Patterson to score. No RBI. Rivera hits the first pitch. Chu broke back, and the ball's going to fall in front of him. Bautista comes in to score. Shin-Soo Choo got a bad read. He saw the big swing, and the little flare fell in front of him. Blue Jays have cut into this 6-run deficit. It's a 4-run game at 6-2.
Choo is an excellent outfielder, but the high fastball, the big swing by Rivera, and Choo, you see him, he took 2 or 3 steps back, and by that time it was too late to come in and try and make that play. It's an RBI single by Rivera.
J.P. Arencibia takes the first pitch strike.
Jose's at second base, and he is running on anything. Scores easily.
Well, we know how quick the Blue Jays can strike. A little breezy out there in the outfield, and Chu saw the big swing. He took a step back, and that was costly. Arencibia facing Smith for the first time. He's not seen the sidearm offerings from Joe Smith.
Think Frisbee. When he comes down under and it's breaking ball, it's going to stay away from him.
And he got a little more zip on his fastball than most sidearmers. 91 miles an hour. Strike 3 call. Arencibia caught looking at a Smith fastball, but the Blue Jays get on the board. They scored 2. To you by the all-new Equus from Hyundai, redefining luxury.
In the 4th inning, the Indians were up by a score of 3-0. A couple of runners on, and Eric Thames sends a shot down the right field line. But a tricky hop right at the end. It hit the dirt, but Matt Laporta catches it. Saves a couple of runs as he makes the play at first base. That is the play of the game so far.
And his defense has played well. Early in this ball game, they saved a couple of runs. Could be a different story now as Dotel comes out of the bullpen to start the 8th inning.
Righties have had their trouble against Octavio Dotel this year. He's been in 16 ball games. His ERA is inflated. He's had trouble against the lefties. 13 innings, 12 hits, 11 walks. That has been the problem for Dotel. But those righties in there, he has given them fits all season long. They are hitting just $182 against him.
Orlando Cabrera singled his last time up. He is now 4 hits shy of 2,000 for his career. There's a strike, 2-1. Blue Jays scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th. They had a couple of breaks. They got a wild pitch in that inning. Cabrera commits his 2nd error of the series. And then Chu misplayed a ball in right field. Two and two to the leadoff batter here in the 8th. Just outside of third. That's a foul ball. A fly ball in the center. Davis took a couple of steps in, and he'll make the catch. One out here in the 8th. We'll be right back here tomorrow night at Rogers Center. Jays on Sportsnet. Indians and the Blue Jays will go at it. It'll be Kyle Graybeck for the Blue Jays. Action begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie and Greg. Graybeck will go up against Josh Tomlin. Tomlin is 6-2 with a very good 2.74 ERA.
Yeah, he is their best starter, I think. Carmona gets all the accolades as being their big winner. But I think Tomlin's been their best pitcher this year.
Josh Tomlin, just 26 years old. He has already tied his career high with 6 wins. Last year he was 6-4 in 12 starts after coming up from AAA Columbus. Indians are a team. They have a balanced attack. They have a deep bullpen, and their starters are all pretty efficient.
All you have to do is just look at some of the numbers that are out there on the pitching side. Indians relief pitching, they are 3rd in earned run average, 4th in hits per 9 innings. They have 14 saves, which is tied for 3rd most in the American League. That's just the bullpen.
Offensively, they're middle of the pack in many categories. Chris Perez in the middle of your screen has done a great job as their closer. And that's another one of those Indians trades. At the time, Mark DeRosa went to St. Louis for Chris Perez. And everybody said, oh, okay, Chris Perez, he's got a nice arm. Well, he's turned into a very effective closer. They have a great track record of making good quality trades. And this is another young man that came to Cleveland in a trade. He and Michael Brantley came from Milwaukee for CC Sabathia.
You know, you look up and down their lineup, every one of their starters tonight came in a trade. Not one of them was drafted, signed, and developed by their minor league system.
Even Grady Sizemore, people forget that he came from Montreal in the Bartolo Colon trade, along with a fellow named Cliff Lee.
And Brandon Phillips was in that deal also.
Laporta hits one high, but not that deep to left field. Corey Patterson dances under it when playing tricks with that baseball. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Third baseman Jack Hanahan had a great game in the field and pretty good game at the plate. Double and a walk. He's 1 for 2 officially. Struck out in his first at bat. But you have to give the Indians a lot of credit. They haven't been able to hold on to their own players. They've had to go out and mix and match, and done a pretty good job.
Some talk in the papers in Cleveland about the effect that Travis Hafner has had on this team. Got off to a blistering start offensively. Been on the DL for a while, and it's coincided with the spot that they've been in the last couple of weeks. They haven't been hitting very well.
They've missed his bat, but they really haven't lost any ground in the standings. Nobody else behind them has made up any of that ground. But Hotel has a good inning. He catches Henry Hanna, 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. Now it's time for Connected Update with Jamie and Greg live from the BlackBerry Broadcast Studio at the Rogers Center. The season goes a very strong 6 2/3 tonight against the Blue Jays.
In line for that win. His last down, he got roughed up by the Boston Red Sox. Much different pitcher here tonight. Was in the strike zone, really baffled the Blue Jays with a good changeup tonight. Mixed very well with his other pitches. Pitches into the 7th inning, second time this year. So he is done after his 99 pitches, and he will give way to Vinny Pastano. Pastano, a 20th round draft pick by the Indians back in 2006. The 611th player overall in that draft is in the big leagues.
Well, Pastano was a very good pitcher at Cal State Fullerton, but he had Tommy John surgery as a junior, and that certainly dropped him in the draft. But he's off to a good start. He's 26 years old. This is his 22nd game, and now you see Manny Acta coming out. Not sure what the problem is. Ted Barrett's going to go talk to Pastano. I have no idea what this is about. Manny Acta came out and said something to Ted Barrett. Now Tim McClellan, the crew chief, wants to know what that conversation was about. And you can see Barrett waving off the sign. That means there's no official visit to the mound. But I'm at a loss. I have no idea what that was about. But Acta went right to Ted Barrett when Pastano came into the game.
They talked a little bit before he even throws a pitch. The umpire talks to him. We'll see. Well, what it might have to be about is the mound. That Pastano might not be happy with the hole that has been dug out by tonight's pitchers. Might have had something to say to the umpire about that. What do you do? Get a shovel?
No, well, if it's significant, they would adjust it, but obviously doesn't seem like a major concern. It was a curious visit by the umpire. Pastano, 26 years old. The Jays trying to get back into this ball game. They trailed by 4. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th. This is a very interesting game in that both clubs have stranded a base runner in every half inning of the game. Blue Jays have had one on every inning. The last 2 innings, Blue Jays have been able to snap that streak. But early in the ball game, everybody had base runners on. Blue Jays couldn't do a thing because Cleveland played such good
great defense.
Great
defense. They've left 9 on as Pastano, 93 miles an hour, gets rid of Aaron Hill. Part of it has to do with good pitching. Part of it has to do with good defense. Blue Jays have been really hitting with runners in scoring position the last few days.
It's a very effective bullpen. The league's hitting just .230 against the Indians relievers. It'll give you many opportunities to get back in the ball game. Eric Thames is officially 0 for 2 tonight. He was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Pastano is the 3rd pitcher to work in this ballgame. Talbot went 6 2/3. Joe Smith came in to close out the 7th inning. Gave up a couple of hits. Struck out Aaron Seabid to end the 7th. Blue Jays won a lap for last night, 11-1. Jojo Reyes winning his first game since June of 2008. Fausto Carmona had a rough start. Jojo Reyes with a complete game, his first complete game in his career. Full count to Thames. Good fastball, and he strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Pastano.
I had a chance to watch Pastano pitch in a game. When he came in, I was like, okay, who's this guy? Doing a little homework on him, and I noticed he's got a great cut fastball. It's late breaking, and it's about 93 miles an hour. He can turn the fastball over. Batters hitting just 167 off of, which is 6th in the American League. And he is entrenched as the 8th inning guy right now for Maniacta's team.
Well, that's one thing you can turn around very quickly in Major League Baseball. You can turn around the fortunes of your bullpen. You can build a bullpen overnight. I mean, Tampa Bay's done it. They're a great example. They lost their entire bullpen last year. And I think the Blue Jays understand that. Alex Anthopoulos has been very vocal about not signing relievers to multi-year contracts.
You have to pick the right ones. You'd like to have some long guys. You'd like to have some short guys.
And the one thing you need if you're going to play in the American League East is strikeout pitchers. Frank Francisco was picked up on a 1-year deal as a strikeout type closer. And what an inning for Pastano. Comes in and strikes out the side in the 8th. tough delivery, really tough on right-handers. He's also got enough zip on his fastball to get it by Rajai Davis. 3 in a row. Frank Francisco will come on to work the top. First, only from Rogers.
Grady Sizemore just came off the DL a couple of games ago and didn't have much success, but tonight, this is his second double of the game. He smoked the ball to center field. Indians would score 3 runs in that inning to make it 6-0 at the time. It looks like Grady Sizemore's timing is back.
Set a big night, and the Indians have had an 11-hit night that led to 6 runs. They've had extra base hits, 7 of them. And they continue to hit very well with runners in scoring position.
Came into this game over 300. And when they out-hit their opponents, they're 24-3. They're doing that now against the Jays. Frank Francisco into the ball game. Here are his numbers. He is 5 for 8 in save opportunities. He is now sharing the closer's role at that back end of the bullpen as John Farrell tries to mix and match towards the end of a ball game. Francisco last worked 3 days ago against Chicago when he picked up his 3rd blown save of the season, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, an earned run, and a strikeout in that game.
So the leadoff man, Michael Brantley, will start things off here in the ninth. Indians have a 4-run lead at 6-2. John Farrell was asked about Francisco, and Farrell was asked to give his impression. He said Francisco's fine. He said he's just making some mistakes in the strike zone. Likes his velocity, likes the fact that he has 3 weapons to use.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with his fastball. He picked up a save in New York when he struck out Curtis Granderson with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, blew it right by him. Then came back the next day and threw a curveball to him, and that's the pitch he got beat on.
Granderson was able to hit it off the glove of Juan Rivera for a base hit, and it's just tough hitter. And Francisco after the game said, you know, I made a pretty good pitch, and John Farrell wasn't so much in agreement with the pitch selection as anything.
For me, watching him pitch, he certainly has enough fastball. I mean, he can rush it up there. That last one at 95 miles an hour. For me, the key to Frank Francisco is a split finger. Right now, he just doesn't have the action that you need on it to get batters to offer at it, swing at it, or check swing, or take a look at it. Just hasn't been able to have the good command of it.
And there's that splitter right there. Rajai Davis has it go off his glove, but it doesn't go far enough, and then he airmails second base, and another base hit for Michael Brantley. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, a couple of good ball clubs hooked up there, and certainly that's a couple of postseason teams from a year ago, and Evan Longoria hasn't had the kind of pop that we've seen in the past. He's not getting a whole lot of pitches to hit.
How about him in the leadoff spot?
Yeah. Joe Maddon's just trying to get him more pitches to hit, I think. Yep. Get him to the plate a little more often. Asdrubal Cabrera 1 for 4. Gets jammed with that fastball. But you mentioned the split finger pitch, and sure enough, Francisco threw a splitter out over the plate to Michael Brantley, and he hit right into center.
Just tumbled up towards home plate. He didn't have that good biting action that a good split finger fastball has to get him to offer at it, swing and miss, swing over the top of it. It's just kind of tumbled into the strike zone or out of it, and the hitters have been able to recognize it easily.
And there goes Brantley. Pitch is fouled out of play. Brantley got a good jump at first. Brantley has 7 steals. Tampa Bay going into that game tonight just 3-7 in their last 10 games. And remember, they beat the Indians 2 out of 3 over the weekend. There's a good fastball, 96. That does the trick and gets Cabrera. First out of the ninth.
Nothing wrong with the fastball from Frank Francisco. Swings in a pretty good spot as he catches Cabrera by surprise. On the corner at the knees.
1 out now for the number 3 hitter, Shin-Soo Choo. Choo just 1 for 4 tonight, a couple of strikeouts. Snap throw to first. Rivera makes another good play on the short hop. He's got good hands at first.
Soft hands. You can never tell that from an outfielder because they're always catching fly balls. But on the balls in the dirt, the ground balls, he looks very comfortable. He's going to play some first base when Adam Lynn comes back. Lynn comes back, and he's not going to go right back into the lineup as the first baseman.
Yeah, the schedule for Lynn has him playing in a rehab game tomorrow, beginning with Dunedin. And John Farrell suggests there's hope that he plays in 3 straight games. Fly ball left field. Corey Patterson over near the foul line makes the catch in fair territory. Two outs.
Just to finish up that Lynn story, he got 4 at-bats today in an extended spring training game. He ran the bases fine. He has plateaued to the next level. The only problem that Adam was having, from what John Farrell was telling us, is when he was sprinting straight ahead, he still felt it in his back. But so far, everything has been good, and they're hoping to get him over the weekend when the team goes to Baltimore.
Pitch out and nothing doing, as Brantley wasn't going. Travis Buck in the cleanup spot tonight. He may have had the most important at bat of the game in the 5th inning. Brandon Morrow with a 2-out walk. That turned out to be a 3-run inning. It's underneath this and hits it into shallow right field as Hill is over near the foul line, makes the catch. It's a fair ball. So the Indians strand a base runner. It'll be 9. Jason Nix, leadoff batter. Escobar, he's been on base 4 times, and Corey Patterson has place on June 14th when the Blue Jays welcome the Orioles into Rogers Center. It's a 7:07 p.m. start. Interact with the Blue Jays and the Sportsnet broadcast team during the game. Great prizes to be won: first pitch, autographed merchandise, T-shirts, and more. 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations for tickets. Tony Sipp comes out of the bullpen for the 9th inning. Indians up by 4 runs.
Made his major league debut back in 2009, had an excellent season, a 293 earned run average. Last year was a disaster for him. Got into 70 games, an ERA over 4. This year, he is back in the saddle. Great numbers all the way around. Time for the American League and holds with 11. 22 games for Sipp. He's got the second lowest relief batting average in the American League at 143.
Jason Nix will try to get things started here in the 9th inning. Blue Jays just 2 runs. They came in the 7th inning. Once again, the Blue Jays bullpen has done a good job. Luis Perez, Octavio Dotel, and Frank Francisco have kept the Indians in check.
The offense a chance to catch up, but the Indians bullpen has been pretty good too.
There's a strength. Joe Smith, Vinny Pastano, and now Tony Sipp in support of Mitch Talbot.
They have struck out the last 4 Blue Jays to come to the plate.
2-2. Strike 3 call. Make it 5 in a row. Struck out by the Indians bullpen. We are on the verge of the start of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Canucks Connected Stanley Cup Edition, tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time on Sportsnet East Ontario, West End Pacific. It's presented by Toyota. Five straight strikeouts for the Indians bullpen. Yunel Escobar has been on base 4 times tonight. 3 walks and a single.
Boy, they have just come out of that bullpen just throwing heat, throwing strikes. They were 10th in the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings, the bullpen for the Indians before tonight started. That certainly will go up with the strikeouts that we have seen here. Bullpen's just given up 2 hits, one of them infield single by Jose Bautista, and the other one a blue pit by Juan Rivera. Pretty impressive performance tonight by the Tribe's bullpen.
The ball is driven to the gap in right center. It's carrying deep. It is off the top of the fence and out of the ballpark. Opposite field, a home run for Yunel Escobar. His 6th home run of the season.
We saw very early on this year that Yunel Escobar has opposite field power. Had a walk-off home run to right field earlier this year. And this time drives it off the top of the wall in right center field.
It's a 3-run game. Blue Jays trying to mount a comeback here in the 9th. Corey Patterson. Edwin Encarnacion will hit for Patterson. facing the left-hander Sip.
Bring in the right-handed hitter against Sip. It certainly worked for Escobar. Encarnacion hit his first home run of the season the other day.
Ball on the strike. Escobar talking about the ball carrying. That ball carried a long way, hit right off the top of the fence and went out of the ballpark in right center. He's had a perfect night at the plate. 3 walks, 2 hits, including his 6th home run. He now has driven in 20. Ball is driven to center field. Grady Sizemore slows down on the warning track, and he makes the catch. Encarnacion gave it a ride.
When it left his bat, it looked like it had a shot to center field. He can knock the ball out of any part of the ballpark. He drives that ball to center field, and it holds up for Sizemore as he runs it down. Manny Acta didn't like what he saw over the last 2 batters, so he is out to the mound, and he's going to make a pitching change.
So Tony Sip will go 2/3 of an inning, gives up the home run to Escobar. Manny Acta will call upon Chris Perez, his closer, to try to finish this out. Eastern and then Pacific, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central Time on City TV. That's America's Got Talent. Beautiful shot of Rogers Center. Chris Perez, the closer, comes out of the bullpen. It is a save situation now, and he will be facing Jose Bautista. 14 of 15 for Perez.
Just 25 years old. You mentioned he was acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals in exchange for Mark DeRosa back in June of 2009, and hasn't this worked out nice for him? 23 saves last year, and he will come in firing fastballs.
Got a big arm, 95 miles an hour. Perez comes out of the University of Miami, taken 42nd overall in the 2006 draft. Bautista jumped back from a breaking ball, and Ted Barrett called it a strike on the inside corner.
Recognized fastball, ducked out of the way, and it bent over the inside corner.
Fastball just off the outside edge. Chris Perez is tied for the American League lead in saves with 14. Deep but well fouled into the 500 ball. Hitting it full by that breaking pitch the second time.
Stayed on that one. There are his numbers against Chris Perez.
Another base hit to right for Bautista. He keeps the inning alive.
I think he has a sense that pitchers are going to stay away from him. So he is going to take what the pitcher gives you. He has 3 hits. And another one to right field. His 3rd hit to right field tonight. Stays on that one and just slices it into the outfield.
Incredible what he's done. Up to 363 with the batting average. And we are on the last day of May. Ron Rivera jumps on the first pitch and pulls it foul.
You know, it's almost like he says, okay, you're going to shift on me. Okay, I'm going to cross you up, and I'm going to just pepper that hole on the right side.
That's what's really amazing, and he makes it look so effortless, but it's such a change from his approach a year ago. And now he's right up there 100 points above his average from last season. 100 points. 2 outs. Blue Jays down to their final strike. Ten hits now for the Blue Jays. That's 5 straight games for the Jays with double-digit hits. They're going to have to get a couple more if they hope to come back. Down by 3. 0-2, 2 outs. Bouncing ball, 3rd. Hanahan's been great all night, and he ends it. Rivera bounces into the fielder's choice. Chris Perez now leads the American League. His 15th save has given the Indians this game a 6-3 win for Mitch Talbot. We'll be right back here tomorrow night for the series finale. Now stay tuned for Connected. Brad Fay, Martine Geyer standing by.